So you've been in no contact with your avoidant ex. Time has gone by, and then boom, like a ghost from the past, here they are trying to get back together with you. What do you do? Well, it really depends on what you want. Do you want to give this person another chance? Are you willing to risk your heart again? If you are, you need to proceed with caution. If you've healed or are working on healing and you don't want to risk your heart again and you don't want to risk getting blindsided again or slow faded on, you have every right to say no, no thank you. That hurt too much the first time. I wish you the best. But if you do want to give this person another chance, it is wise to not take them back unconditionally, but rather conditionally. Meaning, hey, I'm open to getting back together, but this is what I need to see from you. It is a perfect opportunity to lay out some boundaries. Boundaries are your limits of what you will and will not tolerate, what you want, don't want, what you need and don't need. One of those boundaries could be, well, if we're going to get back together, I need to see you going to therapy. Another boundary could be communication. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to tell me. You can't just ghost me for days. And you can set up various different boundaries like that to protect yourself, to make sure that the avoidant knows they don't just get a free pass for what they did to you, that there are potential consequences for doing that kind of behavior. And those consequences could mean losing you for good. If you take them back unconditionally, you're sending them the message that they can discard you anytime they want and have you back when they feel like it, and that there's no consequences to them dropping you like a rock or slow fading into oblivion on you. Reality is, you can give them another chance if you absolutely want to. That is your prerogative. However, protect yourself, protect your heart with boundaries. And here's the thing. It's important to enforce those boundaries too and hold to them even when it's difficult. And holding those boundaries could potentially mean losing the relationship. However, it's much better to lose it now than to ignore your boundaries and have the relationship prolonged much further than it should have otherwise and still come to an end down the road. Because you would have wasted and spent so much more time and emotional energy with somebody who ultimately was not respectful of your boundaries. A partner that cares about you and loves you will do their best to respect your boundaries. A selfish person will get annoyed at you for having boundaries and will walk away potentially because you have boundaries. These boundaries, they don't all have to be deal breakers. Enforcing a boundary can be as simple as saying, no, no thank you, this behavior doesn't work for me. It can be a deal breaker. A certain boundary violation could potentially mean walking away. Like if they cheated on you or lied to you, for example, your boundaries are up to you. You get to decide what your boundaries are. There are no right and wrong for boundaries. Your boundaries are determined by you and they're based off of your core values. Your core values are what inform your boundaries. And your boundaries are how you define yourself to your partner. Shared interests are great, but that's not the glue that binds. It is shared values. And when you assert your boundaries and you make them known when they need to be, that's how you're letting your partner know who you are as a person. And being willing to enforce a boundary is important. It's not a recreational activity. Nobody enjoys doing it. But the consequences of not enforcing a boundary are so much more severe than the consequences of enforcing a boundary. Because if you enforce a boundary, first, you're sending yourself the message that your wants, your needs, your feelings absolutely do matter. And you are also letting your intentions be known in the relationship. You are letting this person know what you will and will not tolerate, and you are standing up for yourself. You are setting yourself up for success, and sometimes success means an unhealthy relationship coming to an end. But when you don't enforce boundaries, you're sending yourself the message that your own wants and needs and feelings don't matter. And it's okay for this person to treat you in a way that you don't like. So, yes, you certainly can give the avoidant another chance, but it is so important that you do so while setting boundaries up front with this person so they understand what it is that you will and will not tolerate. That you aren't going to allow them to just pull all this kind of avoidant behavior on you because you do have boundaries and you are willing to walk away. that does give this person extra incentive to work on themselves, because they know that this second chance with you is not a freebie, and they can't take you for granted, and they could potentially lose you if they don't do the work on their end.